changes this afternoon?
And point that it's the same game that we had Thursday night because we had everything with shorthanded goals, power play goals, lots of intensity. I think for Baltimore, they don't want to do anything differently. For San Diego, they just need to pick up the intensity a little bit, let the great individual talent of their players come out.
Kyle, it's tough to win on the road. In 4 years, San Diego has not lost at home on the road, and yet in 7 tries, they haven't won here.
Now, one of the reasons that it's so difficult to play here at the Civic Center in Baltimore is because the field at the Civic Center is 25 feet shorter than it is around the rest of the major indoor soccer league. It allows players like the great Stan Stominkovic, the magician, who frankly is built more for comfort than he is for speed, about 20 pounds overweight, to really do his thing, where really the speed players of San Diego really were corralled because of the shortness of the field.
Kyle, for the first time, some fans are going to be watching soccer on television. Let's go now, without too much detail, into some of the rules that can kind of introduce them to the sport.
Well, Gary, this game was created primarily from basketball and from hockey. The hockey lineup with 5 field players, 1 goalkeeper is the same as it is in indoor soccer. The strategy, though, is much like basketball. Lots of 2 against 1s, 3 on 2s. 2 particular formations that are used in the major indoor soccer league. Here are 2 defender, 2 midfielder, 1 forward formation, which is used by both Baltimore and San Diego. Some teams use 2 forwards, 1 midfielder, and 2 defenders. But I think we're going to see both teams stay in this 2-2-1 formation. And one of the other things about this game is that it adds 2 additional elements. The unlimited substitution of ice hockey and also the penalty situations of ice hockey with man advantage and shorthanded situations really make this a great, intense game.
It's a fast-paced game. We'll develop the rules as this game unfolds, as it's Game 4, the MISL on CBS.
This CBS Sports Special is sponsored by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Prudential, for life, health, auto, home. Get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Center in Baltimore, Game 4 between the Sockers and the Baltimore Blast. And one of the great traditions in the MISL is how each home team is introduced. Here's the way Baltimore does it. And now let's look at the lineup. This is the speed lineup for San Diego. Zungul along Segota, their leading scorers. The blue-collar line for Baltimore. Dave McWilliams is the captain. The 2 coaches for this game, Kenny Cooper, 39 years of age. Last year he was the MISL Coach of the Year. Ron Newman, 52. He's won 5 championships in 4 different soccer leagues. And Ron at one time was Kenny Cooper's coach when he was playing in Dallas. We're set to go now. In the blue, the Sockers of San Diego. In the white, the Blast of Baltimore. And going back will be Richard Chinapoo, number 15, the defender, to bring it out to Heine Verts. They board it out to the center. Gene Willrich, number 15 for the Sockers, able to ride off the Baltimore Blast. And here comes Steve Zungul, Lord of Indoors, the leading scorer in the league. Off the board, Joey Fink gets it out very quickly, and we're going to have a penalty against San Diego.
Call there, Gary, for tripping from behind, and it's obvious here early that the intensity of the game is going to be equal to what we had Thursday. San Diego is not going to back off at all, which some people said they did a little bit Thursday with the intensity of Baltimore.
We have 4 quarters, 15 minutes in length. Dave McWilliams trying to get it in front of the goalie, but kicked out very quickly that time by Jim Dorsett. Willrich considered to be the spark plug of the San Diego Sockers.
Plays on that same line with Zungul and Segota and Clavijo. Tremendous speed on this line.
Clavijo, number 21, might be the fastest man in the MISL. Here's Verts trying to kick it around the boards. It'll be played out by Zungul. Segota trying to come up with it. Chinapoo marking him. Chinapoo keeps it into the offensive end. Out to Joey Fink. Fink had a big game against Cleveland in the semifinals. He's tackled by Segota, and out they come. Dump it down for Willrich. Willrich with Chinapoo on him. Scott Manning is able to get it back outside. This is Kevin Crow, the outstanding defender who played collegiately at San Diego State and was on the U.S. Olympic team.
The style of the new American defender, large and wants to shoot. Here's Crow into the attack from the wing.
Crow gets it into the slot. Zungul tried to come up with it, could not. Again, he gets it in there. It goes by Steve Zungul, and Segota now will bring it back. Segota is considered to be the new Steve Zungul, and he gets a little more experience. He can really run. Kicked out nicely that time. Stankovic. The goalie coming out, Gorsuch, to get it back to the San Diego Sockers. Zungul having a little trouble getting around. Stankovic, the Yugoslav, will bring it out very effectively, and Zungul now will come back with him. Set up nicely this time by Brian Quinn, who had that hat trick in game number 2 against Baltimore. Off the board, and it'll go off of Holzenbein, Bernd Holzenbein out of West Germany, and it'll be a corner kick for San Diego.
This will allow us to see the first corner kick in the game, the ball being deflected over the end line by the defensive team. As you can tell, we've named several players with the change on the fly. We've already had 2 line changes by Baltimore. San Diego with their second line change, though Zungul is still on the field.
Kyle, they'll play, what, about 2-minute increments?
Most players will. Players like Zungul sometimes will go as many as 3 and 4.
On the corner kick, doesn't develop. Scott Manning gets it down quickly to Brian Quinn, and he's ridden off nicely that time by Stankovic. Here's Clavejo, the man we talked about. They call him the Road Runner. He had a couple of shorthanded goals Thursday night. He was like lightning. Brian Quinn now will set it up to Clavejo. That's Kaz Deyna. And they'll bring it back. Gorsuch will keep it in. Quinn up to Clavejo. He is so quick. Look at him.
There was a real speed mismatch. Holzenbein and Clavejo.
Jacques Rudecher tried the shot. Manning is there. Manning led the MISL this year in goals against average. He's been on a roll for 2 years.
He was the MVP of the playoffs last year, and though he split some time with Jimmy May during the regular season, when it became money time, it was Scott Manning who got the call 95% of the time.
This is Uricoli, Pat Uricoli, who checked in, number 11, and he is dumped. No foul. Here comes Kaz Deyna, probably the finest player in the history of Poland. The veteran, off in the wing area, shot, goes through. Shot by Gene Willrich. Here's Tomenkovic, who had the 4 goals Thursday night. Clavejo, though, will keep it in. Off to Willrich. You can see that heavily taped left wrist. It's easy for me to say. He has it broken, but still continuing to play. That'll be a foul against Baltimore. So the indirect kick, that's the first foul against the Blast.
And the reason that's so important this year, Gary, as you know, is because the MISL has instituted a 6-foul rule, meaning any time a team in one particular quarter has 6 fouls, they'll have to give up a 2-minute time penalty, and that has been a significant factor this year in the MISL.
Pat Uricoli is being held by Willrich, and they're going to have a foul. That was very obvious. Willrich felt he was held first, and then he held Uricoli.
You're allowed to have shoulder-to-shoulder contact, but when it extends beyond the shoulder-to-shoulder a little bit, that's when the whistle is going to be blown.
That's 3 fouls now against San Diego, and as Kyle mentioned, 6. It's a 2-minute bench penalty. Blocked nicely that time by Willrich on the shot by Stankovic, and Clavejo ran into Tomenkovic.
And this is really critical because we have 11 minutes and 11 seconds left in the first quarter. Over 11 minutes to go. We already have 4 fouls, and as the players say, when it's 4, go for more. They're only 2 fouls away from getting a 2-minute penalty against San Diego.
Tomenkovic trying to set it up on the slot, had it taken off his foot. Deyna gets it off to Kevin Crow. Crow being marked by Uricoli. Crow gets it off to Deyna. Kaz Deyna, he's the veteran. High off the glass, it'll come out to Zungul. Zungul, who is 30 years of age, from Yugoslavia, taken away nicely that time by Kunovac. Tomenkovic. And it'll be coming back now to Deyna again. Deyna with a red armband, indicating he's the captain of the Sockers. Good defensive efforts by Stankovic, but they're going to have a foul against Stankovic.
That was a good call. Quinn was on the ball, trying to go past the side. Zungul came in a little bit late as the ball was stolen by Stankovic. And Stankovic got him at the knee.
Second foul now against Baltimore. As mentioned, San Diego with 4. 10:15 to go in this first quarter. Stankovic again. Zungul hits hard, and he is shaken up. Zungul, who led the MISL. In fact, he won the Triple Crown this year in the MISL.
He's won the Triple Crown for 3 times. We have a 2-minute penalty here in Baltimore.
And we're going to break at the 10:13 mark, no score. The first 2-minute penalty against Stankovic. Let's look at it again.
We'll see why it was called. A very violent tackle from behind. Stankovic will go in the penalty box, a place that he's quite familiar with since he's led the Major Indoor Soccer League
And so
in penalties twice.
Excuse me, Kyle. Mike Stankovic, they call him Prince Mike, now in the penalty box. 10-13 to go in this first quarter. The power play on now for San Diego. You can see in the corner what's left of the penalty. Deyna along with Willrich now. Here's Willrich, blocked nicely that time. Excellent job by Baltimore, and in particular, Heinz Wirtz.
Baltimore comes out early. They try to put pressure on the back players, and they leave a 2-against-1 on the backside. That's very risky, but Baltimore is good at it.
Here's Wirtz, had a strong game defensively Thursday against San Diego. Kunovat's going to have a foul as Willrich committing it. That's the 5th foul now against San Diego. One more and they'll have another 2-minute penalty.
In the corner, trying to get along the boards, and he really kind of baited the referees on that call. So one more penalty against San Diego, and we'll be at equal strength with one player for each team in the box.
You see the penalty time remaining on Stankovic. Here's Deyna on the power play. Dumps it off to Quinn, Brian Quinn. Here's Buriano coming out, and Buriano's tripped, and that is 6 now. So the 2-minute penalty, and they'll be even now. Both teams will have a man in the penalty box.
Actually, San Diego is very fortunate that a 2-minute penalty on that foul alone was not given, which would have meant the foul count would have stayed at 5, and they could, on the next foul, have had 2 people go in the box. So here we have Ron Newman taking a look at his lineup to see who he wants to put on the field for this 4-against-4. You're watching
Newman, the coach of Kyle Road when he was in Dallas. We'll be back. Serving the penalty for San Diego, the 2-minute bench penalty, is Wad Hermes. So they're now equal, both teams with a man in the penalty box. 1 minute left on the penalty to Stankovic of Baltimore, as Chinapu now will set it up. They bring it back out to Scott Manning. 9 minutes to go, first quarter, game 4, no score here in the Civic Center.
Hermes, kind of the designated bench sitter for San Diego.
Here's Chinapu, and Gorsuch will save it. He'll bring it out. Very quickly, Quinn on the move. Quinn leaves it for Segota, blocked nicely by Bruce Savage. Manning quickly out to Chinapu. He can't control it, and Quinn will bring it back for the Sockers. 20 seconds now on the penalty.
Gary, that's right. We'll have 56 seconds for a Baltimore power play. And that means we should probably see the magician Stan Stomenkovic and Mike Stankovic coming on for that team.
Adashur has it taken away by Bruce Savage. Savage also in the U.S. Olympic team shoots. Nice save by Gorsuch. Jim Gorsuch had a shutout in the semifinals against the Minnesota Strikers. Willrich, and now back at full strength. The Baltimore Blast, still 49 seconds to go on the penalty for San Diego. Stankovic. Blocked nicely by Crow. Out it comes Segota. Segota, outstanding runner, and he gets in the open field. Look out. Off the board, but no one down there, as they're still a man short. 28 seconds left on their penalty.
No one was there, Gary, because San Diego trying to get their regular line off the field so they could get their penalty-killing team on, and that meant Segota was going 1 against 5.
Here comes Wirtz on the attack. There's the time left on the penalty to San Diego. Wirtz on the rebound. McMillions cannot come up with it. Claveo gives chase. It goes out of bounds. And at the 7:23 mark, no score. We now have 6 seconds left before San Diego will be at full strength.
As an indication of how teams should do in power play, San Diego was the #1 team in the Major Indoor Soccer League during the regular season. About 44% of the time they were able to score in this situation. Baltimore was 6th in the MISL, around 31%, which is still pretty good.
What do they call the San Diego penalty killers, the no-goal patrol?
That's it, and they've done a good job at that as well. They tied for 3rd in the league this year, with killing about 73%, so meaning opponents were only able to score 27%.
San Diego waiting for the penalty to expire. They've got it expired, and both teams now at full strength. Ryan Quinn at the 7:10 mark of the first quarter, no score. Thursday night, a high-scoring game won by Baltimore 10-6.
San Diego had not given up that many goals in over 3 years, so it was not only a loss, but an embarrassment for them.
Manning with Hermez right on top of him. Brings it out now to Ercole. Ercole gets it off to Stamenkovic. This is the man who was sensational Thursday. Kunovats tries to get it off to Holzenbein, but Zungul is there instead. Here he comes, Steve Zungul out of Yugoslavia. Look at the footwork by Zungul. Manning, he almost was caught and was a rebound shot, and a goal is scored. Beautiful job that time.
Kaz Deyna, but Zungul's the one that really set this thing up because he pulled all the defense to his side. We're going to take another look at it as Zungul came down the far side. It was a speed mismatch. Zungul against both Holzenbein, and here turning Kunovats around outside of his shorts, and there goes Zungul to the far side. Deyna with the side foot bounces the ball over Manning off the far post into the net, and San Diego with a 1-0 lead.
Kaz Deyna, the oldest player on the San Diego team, coming up for the first goal. The Sockers lead it 1-0. The assist is Zungul. And so it's going to be another penalty against San Diego. That will be their 7th. The foul, I should say. And Stankovic will now put it back into play. 7 against San Diego, 2, as Ron Newman, looking on, his team trailing, are leading by 1 and tied up by Holzenbein. Bert Holzenbein. Holzenbein is 39 years old, Kyle. They had to talk him out of retirement this year.
Well, he was my assistant coach in Memphis last year, but here's the real key to it, and that is Stamenkovic going to the low post, drawing defenders to him, and letting Bernd Holzenbein make a run. It's 1-1 here in Baltimore. You're watching MISL Soccer on CBS.
Baltimore has tied it up, Kyle, on this goal by Holzenbein.
And Gary, the elder statesman here, chipping the ball into Stamenkovic. Stamenkovic at the low post, very similar to basketball strategy. Controls the ball. Here comes the cutting run, the back heel to Holzenbein. First time Holzenbein, and the former World Cup champion from West Germany, makes it 1-1.
And after that goal, we have a penalty on San Diego's George Catalidis for dissent. Evidently, he argued after the play was over, so now they are a man short. 1-1 our score, 6:18 to go in the first quarter. This game ended with nobody really happy at each other, and it may start out that way, as it looked like Catalidis, who had a 2-minute penalty called on him Thursday night, still unhappy.
Yeah, the charities across America are very happy as these players continue to get fined with those red card ejections and those kind of things that did occur from Thursday night.
It is emotional. Ryan Quinn now has it for the Sockers. 1-1 our scores. That last goal coming at 8:41 of the first quarter. Covejo and Holzenbein trying to keep it away from San Diego. Ricazzi's in, Jeff Ricazzi, and brings it off now to Dave McWilliams. This is Stamenkovic, who had that assist on the last goal. Beautifully done, as you can see on the replay. Holzenbein again, Crow on the block. There's Stamenkovic. Watch him up in front. When he gets in that slot, he is deadly.
He has to his left Ricazzi, who is a brand new addition to the Baltimore Blast from Yugoslavia. Doesn't play too many normal shifts because he doesn't know how to play the game, but he's got such a powerful left foot that on power play,
look at that by Stamenkovic. Is he something to watch? Holzenbein trying to get it into the middle, and Stamenkovic will reload now for the Blast. 5:25 left to go in the first quarter.
Only danger for Baltimore here, Gary, is that with Holzenbein and Stamenkovic at the backside, they don't have a lot of speed. Let's take a look at the incredible skill of Stan Stamenkovic. He's called the magician, and players all over the world, the very best, have never seen this kind of talent, indoor soccer or out. And it's one reason why I think Stan is perhaps the most deceptive-looking professional athlete that I've ever seen anyway, kind of the Fernando Valenzuela of soccer, if you will.
Well, he's called the pizza man, too. As you can see, he might have a little extra poundage on him, but when you can play like that, you can get away with it.
Well, there was a story going around the league last year that he went on a diet and went from 16-inch pizzas down to 10-inch pizzas, and that was so he could still retain his pizza man nomenclature.
San Diego trying to stall a little bit now to kill the penalty. They have 47 seconds remaining on the penalty. The power play put back into effect now for the Baltimore Blast. 5 minutes to go, first quarter. Stamenkovic having a little trouble, and we're going to have a foul against Segota. But Segota's still just trying to kill some time.
Interestingly, with 4 minutes and 55 seconds left to go, San Diego now has 8 penalties, meaning they're only 1 away from another 2-minute penalty for the time accumulation.
McWilliams on the shot. Stamenkovic off the post. The shot by Brakazi. Here's Stamenkovic again. Brakazi. Oh, just missing that time. Here comes Corbejo. His speed is something to watch in the open field. He'll bring it out to Crow instead. 7 seconds left on the penalty. They'll soon be at full strength. Segota working hard along the boards. And now they're at even strength. The penalty time has expired. Katakalitis will come off the field, and Ryan Smertzer has come in. There's a block by Wirtz. Zungul making his move against Fink. He'll leave it for Smetzer. Smetzer, shot, goal by Willrich. Beautifully set up, Gene Willrich, able to give San Diego a 2-1 lead.
Well, the Baltimore Blast fans meeting this with total silence. Here it is from the end zone look. There's the step over, and here comes Brian Schmetzer, who plays it into Willrich, who's found himself at the low post. And in that kind of matchup, 1-against-1 from 3 yards away, the goalkeeper has very little chance.
Schmetzer checks in, he gets an assist, and Willrich has given the Sockers a 1-goal lead. Gary Bender along with Kyle Rote Jr. We have 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. San Diego has taken the lead for the second time, 2-1, as we pick up the play again. Richard Chinapoo is now in. Headed out by Corbejo. Ladouceur keeps it on the boards, and it'll come back into the Blast into the field. The Baltimore Blast trailing 2 games to 1. The next game's Tuesday in San Diego, and that'll go out of bounds. Shots on goal. Thus far, San Diego with 8, Baltimore with 4. Willrich, the vet, the man who has been a spark plug of the team, giving the Sockers this 2-1 lead.
He was also a member of the U.S. Olympic and national team, naturalized citizen.
In fact, did he sing Yankee Doodle Dandy when he was admitted in his citizenship?
It wouldn't surprise me. Soccer players have a great sense of humor, including both of our coaches.
Scott Manning gets it out to Chinapoo. 3.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. 2-1. San Diego with the lead. Scott Manning will bring it out to Bruce Savage. Savage, who was on the MISL All-Star team this year. To Chinapoo. Chinapoo will bring it out to Heinz Wirtz. Wirtz, the West German. Ladouceur doing a good job on Buriano. Chinapoo. The Wirtz. Nice job that time coming across was Quinn to save it. From the mouth of the goal, Ladouceur will bring it out now for the Sockers. We have a 2-on-1 now as Quinn and Savage go for the ball. And Manning will have it.
Great play by Bruce Savage as he was facing a 2-against-1 break and was able to pin the ball against the boards. And now end-to-end action as Davey McWilliams for Baltimore.
They call Dave McWilliams a Pete Rose of soccer. All hustle all the time that he's on the field. Here's O'Coley bringing it back out to Wirtz. 2.5 minutes to go. First quarter, Wirtz. He did not get that one off the foot the way he wanted to. O'Coley now will bring it back out for the Blast.
Watching players play the ball off the boards and the glass, each arena has its own bounce characteristics, and that's another advantage for Baltimore here at home. And one reason why I'm sure San Diego has won 19 in a row in the playoffs at their home, the Sports Arena in San Diego.
San Diego is 0 for 7 here. And there's the save by Gorsuch. Jim Gorsuch, a native of Portland, who had a shutout against the Minnesota Strikers in their semifinal round. And you don't have that happen very often in playoff action.
Well, he's such a great story. As a senior in high school, he was only 4 feet 11 inches tall, the very least likely looking athlete in his high school class, and yet he's worked hard. Was a third-string goalkeeper for San Diego for quite a while, and then injuries gave him his chance, and he made the most of his chance and has become a real star.
Here comes Kaz Deyna. Deyna going for his second goal. The rebound, and very quickly O'Coley was there to keep Namdar from getting the ball. Cha-Cha Namdar was on the threshold that time. Zungul hits the field, and now Zungul and Stankovic having some words. The two Yugoslavs are emotional. And that's one thing about the Yugoslavians. They are emotional. They play this game with a fervor.
Well, we had the First World War almost started by that same kind of feeling. Got Zungul and Stankovic. Push for sure from behind by Stankovic. That's only the 4th foul against Baltimore to 8 against San Diego here. So Baltimore is still 2 fouls away from having to give up a 2-minute penalty. San Diego's right on the edge. One more foul by San Diego, and they'll have to suffer another 2-minute penalty against them.
And Kyle, to add to that, we have this time remaining 1:18 in the first quarter. Vallejo will bring it out to Gorsuch. They'll reset it now. Cha-Cha Namdar is in there. Here is Deyna. Deyna out to Zungul. Zungul back to Deyna. Shoots, scores! Zungul has set up 2 goals beautifully in this first quarter.
He has, but it was all done by Jim Gorsuch, the goalkeeper. He saw the situation. It was like a blitz in football. He read the blitz. He chipped the ball to a 2-against-1. We're seeing the back end of it as Deyna to Zungul. Zungul can come back to Deyna, and Stankovic is like a man on a string going back and forth, is in no man's land the whole time. But it was Jim Gorsuch who chipped the ball into the attacking zone that really set that up for San Diego to give them this 2-goal lead.
What an effect that is, Kyle, is a repeat of the first goal. As it was an assist by Zungul there, and Deyna on the receiving end. So Deyna with 2 goals. We have a Blast timeout with 1:05 in the first quarter.
We said it was a little bit risky for Baltimore to go out and push up towards the forwards, and here they did it, and they had to pay the price because you can only see 1 defender back with 2 San Diego forwards, and obviously that's not right.
Ron Newman has things going his way right now. 3-1 lead, but we might recall Thursday night they had a 4-2 lead, eventually went 6-6 before they lost 10-6.
Anytime a single player, Gary, can score 3 goals in less than a minute, a team is rarely out of it. Ron Newman did not call this timeout. Kenny Cooper, the Baltimore Blast coach, did. But Newman, as you can see, very serious on his face, has gone through a lot of personal tragedy lately. His son, Guy, who is a member of the San Diego team, has had to have knee reconstruction surgery. His wife has had serious surgery. Despite the fact to come into the Civic Center and play in a building he's never won before, he's very, very serious.
And there's Kenny Cooper, your old roommate.
Yeah, kind of the fashion plate of the Major Indoor Soccer League, and Ron Newman out at the Sports Arena in San Diego wore a tuxedo to try to upstage him a little bit. But they're great friends, but tremendous competitors on the field.
Kenny was the goalkeeper on your team when you played in Dallas. Now we have less than a minute to go in the first quarter. 3-1, San Diego with the lead. Chinapoo into the corner, headed out by McWilliams. Crow, though, gets it off to Zungul. Willrich has it taken away by Chinapoo. Maybe a chance for a last rush here in this first quarter. Chinapoo will play it off the board. Marked very well by Crow. Crow seems to be everywhere. There's Savage, but Gorsuch will save it. And he'll take his time doing it now with time expiring. He has 5 seconds to get rid of the ball. And now with 9 left in the first quarter, Maybe Segota get out of there. Manning was hounded. He had to get that one out of there. Up to Chinapoo. Time expiring here. Quarter number 1 is history in this 4th game. The score, San Diego 3, Baltimore 1. CBS Sports coverage of the 1985 MISL Championship Series will continue after this message and a word from your local stations. Three to 1, San Diego leads, and Kenny Cooper had this to say to his Baltimore Blast team.
And they're going to counterattack us all night long. Let's drop off a little bit when they have the ball. We pick up a man, we stay with that man until the play's finished. Then we break out as quickly as we can ourselves. We're taking the ball too close in. We need to hit some balls and have runners going in there. Now look, fellas, we cannot give up a 4th goal. We have to get the next goal. We have to have it. Shorten down the shift.
Very succinctly said by the very colorful Kenny Cooper, as Ron Newman's team with a 2-goal lead as we start the second quarter. Kaz Deyna with 2 goals, Zungul 2 assists, Holzenbein with the only goal thus far for the Baltimore Blast.
Don't let the dapper look of Kenny Cooper fool you. He's a very intense guy, and to distill some of what he said, number 1 is they want to drop off a little bit defensively. They're going to switch Kunovats onto Zungul to try to get Stankovic away from Zungul somewhat, and they're going to start using the boards. And I think the last thing is they're going to shorten shifts. Most shifts are about 2 minutes long. They're probably going to back down to about a minute and a half.
Now remember, they were off to a slow start Thursday before they ignited and find themselves now trailing by 2 as we start the second quarter. Vallejo and along with Segota Segota coming over is taken nicely by Stankovic. Stankovic. Excellent ball handling out to Holzenbein, who has 1 goal already. Laveo giving chase. Segota trying to get it off the board and will. Holzenbein trying to keep it into the offensive end. It will be off of the Blast. San Diego will inbounds.
I think, Gary, what we're going to see San Diego begin to do is just try to maintain possession. It won't be the 4 corners type of Dean Smith basketball strategy, but what it will be, they want to get the crowd out of the game. Home teams win 64% of the time, and certainly here in Baltimore, they have been a significant factor throughout the season, and particularly against San Diego. So they're going to try to keep this crowd very, very silent if they can.
Brian Quinn may silence him more if he gets a better angle. A nice save that time by Scott Manning, but it's quite evident, Kyle, the crowd not in it right now.
No.
Katakalinas off the board. Segota being marked by 2 of the Blast. Katakalinas tries a weak shot. Manning will bring it out. Stankovic. Boy, is he fun to watch. Here he comes. Stan Stankovic. He is dangerous. Tries to get it into the slot. Uricoli is shaken up. He and Gorsick hit hard in the slot area. He is still down. They're continuing. Uricoli getting his act together, and he is hurting around the hip area.
Uricoli would do better to stay on the field and hope that the referee blows a whistle for injury, because it gave San Diego this man advantage.
Oh, nice save by Manning. What a shot by Zungul. Segota tried to follow, but that was an excellent save by Scott Manning. Let's go back to the injury to Uricoli, who was able to continue.
There's Stankovic with the outside of the foot, and Uricoli trying to backheel the ball into the net past Gorsick, unable to do so. It wasn't a dirty fly by Gorsick at all, just a good, clean, hard foul.
You have to avoid the goalie, though, in there also.
Try to. It's not quite as bad as ice hockey where they can hit you with a stick, but there's some indoor soccer goalkeepers that have been known to do something. Here's Kenny Cooper.
3-1 San Diego, 13 minutes to go now in the second quarter. Ladouceur gets it off to Kevin Crowe. Instead, McWilliams to save it off to Scott Manning. I thought the save by Manning was an excellent save. Zungul really had some heat on that shot. Manning's 5th save thus far in this game. Ladouceur gets it off to Gorsick. Gorsick alternates with Zoltan Toth. They go one game after the other, alternating back and forth in the goal position, which is really unusual.
Well, he's got 2 great ones, and their personalities really don't allow for one to sit on the bench. Toth, as an example, had the best one-loss record in the MISL, 19-3. So he's got 2 great ones, and he wants to keep them both fresh.
Kyle, right now, San Diego's tempo is to just take their time, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, they want to get the crowd out of the game, and they want to spread things out, and even though the field is a little bit smaller here, they want to try to use the individual speed of Segota and Zungul in particular, and Clavijo, to try to isolate it on mismatches.
You get the feeling Stankovic has to have his presence felt here a little bit. He's what ignited him Thursday night. Here's Chinapoo trying to keep it into the offensive end, out to Dave McWilliams. Savage. 11:50 to go until halftime. Chinapoo was quite a story this year. He's our 21st player, became a starter in January, and been a big surprise for the Baltimore Blast. And he loses at Namdar.
The reason being the 21st player is significant. Only 20 are on the roster. So he was not pegged for a position this year.
But he's come in and played very, very well. In fact, Chinapoo had a couple of goals in this series against San Diego. There's McWilliams trying to take it off of Schmetzer, who has an assist in this game. Zungul back to Brian Schmetzer. Setting up Segota, blocked by Manning, and boy, he fell backwards. He took a blast on that one.
They can hit the ball sometimes 90, 100 miles an hour, and Segota is one of those that has that capability.
He is the future of this franchise. They say that Zungul was like him about 10 years ago. Just a matter of experience. Number 20, Segota.
Started playing professionally when he was 17, which means he's already a 6-year veteran at the age of 23.
He's a good size at 5'9", 160. Namdar setting up Zungul. Namdar. Cha-cha Namdar scoring. And Zungul on the assist. And San Diego is impressive. They lead at 4-1.
Well, this is classic give-and-go soccer, because Zungul, he won the Triple Crown because he's as good an assist player as he is a goal scorer. There's the 1-2. Back to Namdar.
And that's the third assist by Zungul. 4-1, San Diego. John Namdar from Iran, who was at Texas Tech at one time with the Phoenix franchise, and his goal.
Well, there's an old saying in soccer, Gary, and that is the ball is always faster than players, and it's certainly true here. They're just putting on a passing clinic, San Diego is, and Baltimore has so much emotion. They want to get the ball that they're really beginning to run themselves out a little bit, and San Diego knows that. They're just making them pay the price.
Namdar, his first goal of the playoffs. You heard what Kenny Cooper says. We can't allow them to have another goal, but they did, and they're down 4-1. You get the feeling right now that San Diego's just in a semi-stall situation, playing keep away and doing it very effectively. Shots on goal, you can see how well defensively San Diego's played. There's Manning with yet another save. Manning has been busy.
Well, they split it up a little bit, and they force the Baltimore players to come to them, and that allows, again, these one-on-ones. Here's Zungul one against Kunibak. That's a mismatch.
Here is. Zungul goes down.
Don't call anything.
No foul, and Zungul goes limping off. He'll be replaced. Coming in is Ladashur, replacing him at 9:57 to go in the second quarter. And a collision in the slot. Adi Coker with Manning. Let's go back on the play on Zungul.
Here's Zungul on the inside, and the referee said he was baiting for a call, but while we were away watching this replay, a call was made as Savage is going to go into the penalty box for 2 minutes for tripping from behind. And so we'll have the penalty-killing unit of Baltimore coming onto the field.
Baltimore can ill afford now to be a man short, trailing 4-1, but that's what it is. 9:54 to go in this first half. And in every sport, the home crowd really can be a factor. And right now, this Baltimore crowd has been completely taken out of it by this excellent play by San Diego. Savage is in the penalty box. Bruce Savage, 5'9", 150, all-star this year and on the U.S. Olympic team. They call him the Shadow because of his outstanding ability to mark the best offensive player.
Here's the penalty on the backside. There's Savage, the blonde-haired player, coming from behind. And I believe that's Coker down on the field.
Coker.
Yes, who's calling that.
He was a little upset Thursday night. And there's Willrich with another goal. It hit the left post and in. Willrich with his second goal, and he blistered that one. And Manning just didn't have an opportunity whatsoever. That was point-blank range, a power play goal. And San Diego now leads by 4 goals.
Here's the setup, and Baltimore having to put 2 players in a wall because, in addition, having a player in the box. Outside of the right foot, a little screwball, kind of that style. 5-1, San Diego here in Baltimore.
Jim Gorsuch, the goalie, has had outstanding support. His team with a 5-1 lead. That power play goal coming only 2 seconds after the penalty was being served by Bruce Savage. Baltimore now in a real catch-up posture. We're going to have a foul on San Diego going on Quinn. And so the Blast will inbounds. That's their first foul now in the second quarter.
My, how things have changed. Only 1 foul, as you say, here in the second quarter. That was a big problem for them in the first. And Baltimore has to be very careful that their spirit is not broken. This is when motivation of a coach is so important, and this is one of the specialties of Kenny Cooper.
Ariano that time kicks it out, and so Gorsuch will bring it back in.
Burry, let's get into it. Come on.
Kenny Cooper had an unbelievable halftime speech in that final game of the series against Cleveland. I guess it was a piece of art, and he had his team coming back, huh?
Well, he looks very calm there, even though he's pacing up and down, but he's been known to throw things against the wall and do anything he can to get his players to play to their potential, and they are not doing that right now.
San Diego, again, just taking a lot of time. Gorsuch, Ladashur, Chinapoo marking him. 9:14 to go until half. 5-1. The Sockers with the lead. There's Buriano. Did Buriano have a beard the other night? Looks like he shaved it.
Sure did.
Buriano, clean shaven.
Amazing what the CBS cameras can do to someone.
He's from Argentina, and he's one of the veterans. He played so many years in Buffalo. And look at this. Baltimore has not been able to come up with a shot on goal in the second quarter.
And in the first quarter, their dominance was 10-5, so that has made it now 16-5 throughout the game. And that's a very important statistic.
Scott Manning, on the other hand, has been a busy man. Out to Wirtz. Oriano gets it off now to McWilliams in the slot, but Gorsuch there very quickly. Out it comes. In there now is Tim Whitman. Whitman, number 17. He's a native of Baltimore. Playing. Here's Chinapoo. McWilliams trying to rebound it. Wirtz can't get it as it goes out. Steve Zungul now has 21 assists in the playoffs. That's a new MISL playoff record. 4 of them in this game.
Take a look at the last shot. Here's Chinapoo, moves to the right, hits it with his right foot to Gorsuch's right. See the traffic pattern that happens in front of a goalkeeper. Extremely difficult to try to maintain your concentration and to see the ball many times. Like ice hockey, a goalkeeper will be screened from a shot, and goals are scored much easily that way, obviously.
But Gorsuch has had it very easy, as his team has really been attacking at the other end. And again, they go into a semi-delay with 8 minutes to go in this second quarter.
Just want to spread things out to get it up to their speed runners, like Coker.
Adi Coker, born in Nigeria, USA citizen. Lavejo, there's Namdar, who has a goal, and he kicks it out. The Blast will inbounds. We got the feeling that somebody's going to have to ignite this Blast team. They just don't have anybody right now that's putting any pressure on.
Well, not to take anything away from San Diego, because they deserve this lead and they deserve to be here in the championship. The best record in the Major Indoor Soccer League this year, with more victories than a team has ever had in the 7-year history of the Major Indoor Soccer League. Paul Kitzenhauer for Baltimore was a great player who will not play in this series. Had 7 goals in 1 playoff game against Los Angeles this year. And he really makes Stan Stamenkovic even better than Stamenkovic already is. So there is a big loss for Baltimore in that category.
Savage now keeps it in, 7:24. Trying to mount some kind of an attack. Oracoli doing that. Dumps it off now. Here he comes, Stamenkovic. We'll see if he can get that talented foot going. Savage back to the veteran, Stamenkovic. He is tripped, no foul. Here comes Namdar. Cha-Cha Namdar, he faked the kick. Nice play by Savage. Out it comes Ercole. Less than 7 minutes to go, and now we have a stoppage. Stamenkovic is sitting back here at the red line. He was shaken up in the game Thursday night, then came back and just erupted for 4 goals.
Let's hope we can have a duplicate of that for the excitement of the game. It's 5-1 here in Baltimore. San Diego is leading.
Stamenkovic is going off, and Kyle, maybe history will repeat itself. He got hurt Thursday night and came roaring back.
Well, Stan is the kind of player that has a very low pain tolerance. Listening to Kenny Cooper talk to him, and Kenny just trying to encourage him that he's going to have to come back and play. This is a critical game, again, in part because San Diego has won so many in a row at the Sports Center.
Manning's going to have to get back and goal. He went out, and he did get back. A nice heads-up play by Scott Manning. Manning is playing well. He's just not getting a lot of help, is it?
No, and the overall speed advantage of San Diego is not something that's been luck. Ron Newman has built this team this way, and they've really taken advantage of it this afternoon.
Statistician Marty Arundel indicating that still Baltimore has no shots on goal in the second quarter. I could play goalie that way, huh? Yeah. All right. Savage now brings it off to Manning. But Manning has just been really besieged at the other end. And he was last year the MVP in the championship series. And of course, he was in goal when they won Thursday night 10-6. Here's Stankovic.
The triple team, and Stankovic is one of those spark plugs. They won't give nearly as much respect to players.
Hey, how about that? McWilliams, Dave McWilliams in the slot. I got to see this one again. I don't know how they got it in there.
Well, they call this game human pinball, and one of the reasons why is the kind of goal that we just saw. McWilliams' goal going off of a San Diego player, I believe. Here's Holzenbein on the outside. Makes the pass inside to McWilliams. McWilliams turns to try to make the pass. It hits a collapsing defender, Schmetzer, and here's what Jim Gorsuch sees. Here comes the pass across to Holzenbein. There's Holzenbein now on the ball. McWilliams turns, makes the pass. It deflects off another defender, Brian Schmetzer for San Diego. It goes past Gorsuch. That obviously is not a goalkeeper's fault.
We have a foul now against San Diego. It looked like Gorsuch was a little bit screened off, but That was Schmetzer. He just really helped on that, but that might be what Baltimore needed to get back into this one. Now trailing 5-2. McWilliams with his first goal of the playoffs. The captain, the intense one for this Baltimore Blast team. And the crowd now, you can see, starting now to emotionally come into this a little bit. This crowd Thursday night was phenomenal, and another goal, they might be right back to where they were. Time at 5:25 left to go in the second quarter. 5-2 San Diego. Chinapoo off the boards. Ladouceur will clear it out. But Burtz is there to keep it in. Crow battling McWilliams. McWilliams shoots. He can't get it.
We're going to call holding against San Diego, and we're going to have an argument here. Ron Newman is going crazy on the bench because he wanted a handball to be called.
Jesus Christ.
And here it is. Heinz Burtz, very dangerous play there because it was going to be 1 against 1 on the other end. And
here we come, and back to live action. Shot by Burtz, not there, blocked by the interior of the defense. Schmetzer gets it out now. Segota. Here comes Willrich. Getting back is Chinapoo. Willrich off the post. Boy, Willrich already with 2 goals in this game. Here comes Segota. Willrich trying to deke him out. Chinapoo stays with him effectively. Ladouceur blocked nicely that time by Buriano.
Well, things are beginning to warm up a little bit, not only for this man, Ron Newman, but for the fans as well. Let's listen to Ron.
I didn't like that penalty or that foul, but they were able to avert some problems. 3 fouls against San Diego in this quarter. Baltimore has not committed any fouls in this quarter. Zungul off the boards, and Buriano kicks it over the back. And so they'll have a corner kick coming up. 4:44 to go, and you sense that maybe Baltimore will make somewhat of a push.
Well, they've got to get out of this difficult situation right here, as Manning can't even see the ball right now.
Out it comes. Namdar, and they are able to mark him very well. Quinn. And we're going to have a foul against Baltimore. It'll be Buriano. That'll be the first foul against the Blast in this quarter.
Call was for dangerous play.
Here's Zungul in the slot. Nice stop by Burtz. He got in the way of it. Manning gets it out to Heinz Burtz. Burtz out to Joey Fink. Fink, an outstanding goal scorer. Out to Chinapoo. Shot. Saved by Gorsick. Out they come now. Steve Daly. Out to Zungul. Zungul on a breakaway. It's a goal. Quinn following up. Will they give the goal to Quinn or to Zungul?
Give it to Quinn. Zungul made it, though. And on the other end, Jim Gorsick with a point-blank stop really set up this counterattack for the San Diego Sockers. Taking a look at it from the end zone. Here's Zungul coming down. He's going to draw the defense and the goalkeeper to him. Makes the pass to the far post, and Quinn is there to side-foot it up into the top of the net. It's a 4-goal margin here in Baltimore for San Diego.
And a hat-trick in game 2 comes up with a goal.
And for Steve Zungul, his 5th assist of the ball game. Every assist he makes is a new playoff record. His 22nd playoff assist. There it is, tremendous left-footed pass going full speed to Quinn, who all he has to do is nudge it into the goal. And that has certainly taken some of the spirit out of the Civic Center crowd.
Zungul holds virtually every MISL scoring record. You mentioned the assists continuing to pile up. His 5th of the game. Stankovic off of Gorsick. And so they'll have a corner kick coming up with 4:01 to go in the second quarter. 6-2, San Diego. Looked like Baltimore was making a move, and then that beautiful double team act between Zungul and Quinn. Quinn just hustled by Fink on that play to get in position.
Well, that's the team speed of San Diego.
And that is what they've utilized so well. Thursday night it was taken away because Baltimore was so physical. Tomakovic will set it up. Uracoli off the post. Willrich will bring it out now for the Sockers. 6-2, the Sockers of the lead. Willrich with Savage now on him. Savage overhauls him. Off it comes to Kaz Deyna, who has 2 goals in this game. Ladouceur will bring it out now. Tatakalitis. And Holzenbein gets it off to his goalie, Manning.
Well, it looks like Baltimore has made a real commitment here to attack. There's nothing they can lose by making big attack time.
They got to make something happen.
Yep. And San Diego's the kind of team that can really penalize you. They could easily get into double figures.
Gorsuch, in the estimation of his coach, Ron Newman, maybe not the most natural athlete, but just through hard work, he's become a very effective goalie for the San Diego Sockers.
It's okay, Kaz.
Stankovic now on the kick, out to Stankovic. Stankovic. Off to Savage, shot blocked nicely by Crow. It'll be off the Crow. The Blast will inbound.
After a while, Gary, players begin to learn, much like in baseball, who can hit the curveball, who can hit the fastball. Bruce Savage is a great defender, not known as a scorer, so San Diego will play off of him a little bit more than they would, say, Mike Stankovic, who is the highest scoring defender in the Major Indoor Soccer League.
That's a foul in Clavejo. Stankovic, that's where he'd scored one of his goals Thursday night. They weren't going to let him go uncontested there, and so now he's asking for men to back off. How much room do they have to give him?
Give him 10 feet here.
10 feet, and he has, what, 5 seconds to kick it?
Theoretically, it's never 10, it's never 5.
There's Stankovic from Stamenkovic. And if those two names sound familiar, it's because of my Midwestern drawl.
Well, those of us in soccer broadcasting often say, Vitch is Vitch.
Or Stan and Mike.
That's right.
Here comes Namdar. 2:57 left in the first half. 6-2. San Diego. I'm Gary Bender along with Kyle Rote Jr. This is Game 4 of the MISL Championship Series. Savage will head it back in to McWilliams. Williams with one of the goals. Holtzen buying the other for the Baltimore Blast. Savage into McWilliams, and Gorsuch is there.
That was not strength against strength. Gorsuch is rather short. McWilliams is rather short as well. And someone like Mike Stankovic, a taller player for Baltimore, could very well have headed that ball away from the hands of Jim Gorsuch.
Joey Fink did a good job tackling the ball that time. Brings it out to McWilliams. This is Fink. Fink can ignite this team. He did in the semifinal round. Stankovic, very quiet. Hasn't really done all that much in this game. They need him. Trying to set it up. Shot blocked by Namdar. And he'll clear it out. Segota showing his speed, and Fink respecting that, got back in a hurry. 1:55 to go. The crowd trying to urge on the Blast. Chinapoo blocked by Gorsuch and out of play. At halftime, we'll be looking ahead. The Memorial Golf Tournament. A report from there, and that beautiful place in Muirfield. The NBA Championship preview. Game beginning Monday. And then at halftime, we'll be going in to Kenny Cooper's locker room. The Baltimore Blast dressing room. And we've mentioned before, he can be very, very colorful. And his team needs a lift, down by 4 goals. Here's McWilliams trying to keep it in. Katakalinas gets it out to Chinapoo. 1:40 left in the first half. Chinapoo will put it into the boards. McWilliams working hard. Always working hard for this Blast team. Gorsuch spots something, tries to hit Quinn. Quinn can't keep it in play. Segota, nice job by Joey Fink. He takes it away. Schmetzer gets it away from him. San Diego really helping Gorsuch. Veriano hits the deck. He's okay. Schmetzer out to Segota. Comes off the board. Baltimore with Chinapoo. Joey Fink to McWilliams. They dump it in. And Gorsuch just got rid of that one. That'll be a corner kick.
Well, the reason the fans here at Baltimore are booing, there is a 2-minute penalty for delay of game, intentional delay of game. Gorsuch, I'm sure, did exactly what he wanted to do, but it wasn't so blatant that they're going to call it.
Look at those gloves. All the goalies have different type gloves.
Many type. The texture is much like what is on a table tennis racket. Little dimples of rubber trying to grab onto this rocket red ball.
50-some seconds, 57 to be exact, left here in the first half. Ryan Quinn. Intercepted very nicely that time. Chinapoo dumps it in and behind Gorsuch. McWilliams was trying to come up with a rebound. Fink now against Zungul. Nice stop that time by Katakalinas. 36 seconds. Baltimore would like to cut it to 3 if they could as they go into the dressing room. McWilliams ridden off nicely that time by Katakalinas. Here comes Clavejo. Watch him. He can scoop. He's outrunning everyone. Here he goes, setting it up. Manning on the save. Veriano will bring it out. Veriano trying somehow to get something going here.
Well, San Diego is doing such a great job of double teaming the ball. Anytime someone gets the ball against the boards, there are two San Diego players there.
Going to have to hurry 1 second if that's going to do it. That's the end of the first half with a score here at the Civic Center in Baltimore. The San Diego Soccer 6, the Baltimore Blast 2. CBS Sports coverage of the 1985 MISL Championship will continue after this message. 6-2, San Diego leading Baltimore at the halfway point. The third round of the Memorial to follow, and for a report live, here is Pat Summerall. To take the outdoor soccer game and take it indoors, you compress the playing surface from 110 yards to 65 yards. You increase the excitement, the pain. Let's take a look.
Play the game like this. This is a joke. Some of the excitement, Kyle, and right now that Baltimore crowd would like to be ignited again. They got to get something going.
Well, they have the master person who can do it in the locker room right now. We're going to take a listen to Kenny Cooper, the Baltimore Blast coach, to see what he's going to set out his strategy for the second half.
When they get the ball, we've got to be a little bit more patient than what we are. Now, when we get a counterattack, we need to get some shots, or we need to use the boards. We've been 5-2 down before against Cleveland. We come back the second half. Let's erase that. Let's think positive, and let's start again. Let's make a fight out of it. We're going to have to run. We're going to have to step up the intensity, but you've got to believe that we can win the game, guys. 4-goal lead in indoor soccer is nothing. Everybody, Joey, Pat, Davey, we have to lift it as a group. We're in this thing together. We win as a team and we lose as a team. Everybody has to...
Gary, I think what we're seeing is the soccer's version of Robert Schuller, Norman Vincent Peale right there. Kenny Cooper trying more of the mind game here at this point. The tactics need to be basically the same kind of thing, but he needs to get the players to believe that they can win in the second half. We're going to take a look at the real key goal, at least I felt in the first half. That was Steve Zungul and Kaz Deyna after Jim Gorsuch chipped the ball over the Baltimore defense and left the Baltimore defense naked here. 2 against 1. Mike Stankovic was on a string going back and forth, totally out of the play, and Kaz Deyna, the great Polish international star, Gary, that you've told us so much about, really put the ball away very easily.
Well, you heard Kenny Cooper. We were down like this in the Cleveland series. Can they come back? We'll know when we come back to open this second half in the Civic Center.
This CBS Sports Special is sponsored by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. There's no better engine protection under the sun. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body thirst.
Ready to go now in the second half. Ron Newman's team with a 4-goal lead, 6-2. And Zungul in that first half with 5 assists. And it looked as though Newman was able to use a lot of his players, too. They had the tempo and what they liked. And it's just going to take quite an effort by Baltimore to climb back into this one.
You know, there's that old popular song, Don't Tug on Superman's Cape. It happened in the semifinals when Minnesota took San Diego to the 5th game when the commissioner overruled a San Diego victory in Minnesota. As one of the players said, it was the first time in the history of sports that a team had to win 4 games in a best-of-5 series. But it made San Diego mad. They came out in that final 5th game, absolutely destroyed Minnesota, winning 7-0. They got embarrassed here Thursday night against Baltimore, and when you get San Diego mad, they make you pay for it, and they've certainly done that in the first half.
In the first half, shots on goal. San Diego had 19, Baltimore 12 saves. Gorsuch had 4, Manning 7. He was carried the entire first half. As far as total fouls, San Diego had 12, Baltimore 5. Penalty minutes were equal. Both had 4. So Zungul and his line will be out there to start this second half. The visiting team will kick off the first quarter and the third quarter. And Segota, who is going to be the protege of number 7, both of them conferring, and a job well done in the first half.
And we talk about the Yugoslav connection. There are 2 for Baltimore. It's Stamenkovic and Stankovic.
Oh, and they started out with a blistering shot. Kevin Crow, and Scott Manning is dejected, sitting down. He had hardly time to know the game was underway. In fact, 7 seconds into this second half, and it's now 7-2.
Come on, Richard!
Well, this is the thing that can really break the spirit here, as Kenny Cooper no doubt had his team high. Crow coming from the backside, an attacking defender in this case, not normally known for his scoring ability, certainly put that one away very cleanly.
Wow, did that have some on it? Segota on the assist. Crow with a blistering shot. It's 7-2, and San Diego really rolling. Here's Willrich. Willrich coming down. That's his 3rd goal. He was able to shoot that, Kyle, because Manning and Chinapoo were tangled up.
And also because of the superb pass of Steve Zungul, who now has his 6th assist, I think, on the night. He is the epitome of what an indoor soccer player should be. There's Zungul, number 7, making the pass up to Willrich, number 15, and there's the shot as Chinapoo knocks into Scott Manning, and there's a big deficit here in Baltimore.
Wow, what a start by the Sockers. Seconds, 2 goals. The last one was really set up when Chinapoo collided with his goalie, Scott Manning, and Kenny Cooper talked to Chinapoo. We went on tape with it. Let's pick it up.
Richard, you just got to think really smart from the kickoff. You know that ball's going to go in the corner all the time. The guy's going to come in right behind you at top speed. You've got to get your body between him.
We're watching frustration personified in Kenny Cooper right there. A great player himself, 52 shutouts as an outdoor player, which is the current American record. And I'm sure there's nothing he would prefer than to get out on the field and work out some of that frustration that he has there on the bench.
You got to remember, as you look at Katakalinas, and Manning led the MISL in goals against average. He had a 3.89 average, and here today, 8 goals have been scored on him.
And in the Major Indoor Soccer League, average total per game, you get 9.6 goals. We're already beyond that, and we're here very early still in the 3rd quarter.
Here's Brian Quinn uncontested and just missed. Zungul keeps it in. Stankovic gets it off to Scott Manning, and right now, Scott Manning must feel like he's in a shooting gallery. They are just cracking shot after shot at him. Thus far, Zungul with 6 assists. He ties the MISL record now for points in a playoff with 33. Stamenkovic is the man that he's tied with, and there's a lot of soccer left. Zungul back there with Savage. Baltimore now playing for some pride now, trailing by 6 goals. 13:42 to go in the 3rd quarter. San Diego has just been absolutely awesome. Stamenkovic has it taken off his foot. What is he doing there?
Well, normally a teammate will yell and tell you that from the blind side someone's coming. In that case, perhaps because of the crowd, perhaps because no one said anything, Stamenkovic was not aware that a man was coming from behind him.
It might be just indicative of what this game has been like there.
Well, the mental lapse, after a while you get dulled in your senses when you get battered the way San Diego has battered Baltimore here, and they're certainly making Baltimore not mentally sharp either.
Kaz Deyna, who started all this, the first goal of the game. Here's Perkazi, and taken away. Here's Deyna, and he thought Quinn was going to stay on, but Quinn went off the field, and so the Blast will have it. Stankovic. Perkazi, and Zungul will have a foul. But again, though, you just get the feeling Blast right now not moving very well. San Diego running around him in circles.
They need an infusion of spirit. They've still got the skill in there, but right now they're just overwhelmed by what San Diego has done to them.
A double block there, Deyna and Zungul, as Perkazi had it right back in his face. The Blast will inbounds it, and we have a line change coming in now. Kenny Cooper hoping somehow to find the right combination. guy has just had a sensational game. 6 assists today.
And what's interesting, he was not even selected as the MVP of the San Diego Sockers. His teammate Branko Segota was this year. And so even though he's won the Triple Crown 3 times in the Indoor Soccer League.
That Triple Crown, by the way, is goals, assists, and points. And here's the guy that won it again. He's had 6 scoring titles, 5 MVP awards, 3 playoff MVP awards. He's done it all.
One of the real helps, Gary, is that he is so resilient. Teams have tried to hurt him. They've tried to maim him, in fact, at times. But he has always played. He played all 48 games this year. You just can't get him off the field.
Baltimore has had more than just Zungul to contend with, though. It's been a complete domination by the soccer team, the San Diego Sockers. Here is Crow off the light of Sure. 12:22 left in the 3rd quarter. Shot by Daly. Manning on the save. Steve Daly from England, Manchester City. With that shot. Chinafu gets it out to the center to Boriano. Hertz being checked by Namdar. Around the board and trying to come into the slot was McWilliams. Chinafu tries to keep it in. It's off a lot of Sure. And Boriano will retrieve it now for the Blast.
Things will get a little sloppy for a while as both coaches, and particularly Kenny Cooper, will start changing players a little bit and trying a different kind of strategy, because clearly this is not working.
Namdar is double teamed. Do they get the ball away? Schmetzer was an assist in this game. Will set it up. Again, San Diego, no hurry. Why should they be? They lead by 6 goals. Willrich has had a sensational game. Off to Crow. He kicked one earlier in that left foot. There's Daly off the board trying to set up Crow. Crow wasn't quite positioned.
Crow waiting for the direct pass, and Daly decided to play it off the boards. Something that makes it so difficult to be a goalkeeper in this league, Gary, because outdoors, when the ball goes past you, it's either in the goal or play is stopped. Indoors, play's just beginning, because when it caroms off those boards, you're really in no man's land.
You have a different conditioning, too, don't you, for the indoor as opposed to the outdoor game?
Certainly do. It's a good advantage for the player. You learn to receive balls under a lot of pressure, but you're going top speed all the time indoors, and that's a lot different than going 90 minutes without much of a stop outdoors.
Here comes Savage. Shot blocked by Coveo. Nice shot inside, but no one could pick it up. Savage and Perkazi were there, but they couldn't do it. Here is Tim Whitman now, number 17. He's in for the first time. He's for the Baltimore area. They think he's going to be a fine player. Perkazi. Zungul rides him off.
There's another element and characteristic of indoor soccer. Zungul, who's had all these assists, what a great scoring machine back there playing tough defense. You just can't be a one-way player in indoor soccer.
Lavejo. Baltimore now with Komenkovic and Stankovic, the 2 Yugoslavs. Stankovic, who's been playing with a bad left foot. You can see he's limping a little bit after that play. In fact, he did not play the first 2 games, but came in on Thursday, Kyle, and got him started. He had the first 2 goals for the Baltimore Blast. But now, both Komenkovic and Stankovic have just been shut down in this game.
Here's Stankovic facing a 2-against-1 as Gorsic will pull one of the Baltimore players to him, and that'll allow for a mismatch and a numerical advantage for San Diego in the attacking zone, at least momentarily.
Katakalitis. Stankovic. Stankovic has a block by Zungul. Oh, they almost had a pass down to Whitman. Now Whitman tries to come up with it. Almost had Whitman open in front of the goal. Almost, but didn't. And that seems to be the story right now. Segota. Segota's got that size to go with the speed. Very strong. Here comes Quinn. Savage will kick it back out. 8:40 to go, 3rd quarter. Game 4, the 5th game Tuesday in San Diego. And the Sockers would like to have a 3-1 lead going home. Zungul. Segota.
soccer term that people use is one-touch passing or two-touch passing, meaning individual players don't hold on the ball too much, a little give and go, and San Diego is very good at that, making the ball do a lot of the work.
Again, Crow, no hurry, he'll back it out. Crow impresses me from the standpoint that for a defender, he really has some offensive ability, doesn't he?
And he's very calm on the ball. It's rare to have a player who's that kind of size who has good skills.
Come on.
There's Kenny Cooper telling his players to keep fighting, keep pushing in.
His team trailing 8-2, 7:55 to go in the third period. And they'll bring it back out to Manning. Now, that was what, over 2 red lines that time?
This is to keep teams from turning this into a ping-pong match. The ball must be played through midfield. It has to either touch the field or a player somewhere between the 2 red lines. And that's the first time today that call has been made.
Segota intercepting off to Zungul. Look out! Oh, he hit the board hard with that shot. Vallejo will bring it back into the offensive end. Segota again. Blocked nicely that time and out. That was Stankovic, who was able to keep that one from getting to Scott Manning. The Blast, as well as the Sockers, now will change lines. 7:31 to go in the third. San Diego leads by 6. Well, that young lady could care less that Jack Nicklaus won Memorial last year.
And I'll tell you, I think she's been bored to tears as her hometown team have not given her very much to be excited about here.
Boy, though, the people back in San Diego must be excited about the way their Sockers are playing. They won the first 2 at home, 5-4, 7-3, lost here Thursday, and in this game they have dominated. Adi Coker in the game tries a shot. Segota trying to follow on it. The Blast on the move. Chinapu gets it past Schmetzer. Willrich and Chinapu after each other. Burt's almost had a shot, but instead it was very nicely played by Coker.
That ball bouncing just before the red line is why the whistle was not blown. San Diego fans deserve a great deal, Gary. They have really made this team something special. They're worth about, the fans are worth about 2 goals out at the sports arena in San Diego, and that's a significant difference.
I think they'd be worth 2 here if their team hadn't gotten behind so quickly in this game. And Coker will bring it back out. 6:24 left in this third quarter. Duriano, and that's going to be a foul. Segota committing the foul.
That's primarily just sloppy. Segota applauding because that's his way of showing his disagreement.
That's going to be a 2-minute penalty.
Yes, it will be. Holding from behind is the call. That'll bring the power play team for Baltimore back on the field. With this 6-goal margin, if the game were a little bit closer, Kenny Cooper might on occasion pull out his goalkeeper and put another field player in place of Scott Manning. And if Baltimore is able to come back and make it a 2 or 3 goal game, he did that in San Diego, and he'd certainly do it here in Baltimore. So we have the situation very similar to ice hockey when the netminder is pulled.
Segota in for 2 minutes holding, and maybe this is the little opening that Kenny Cooper's team needs. With 6:19 to go,
everybody.
Third quarter.
Heads up.
You got to think positive, and Kenny Cooper is a real positive man. He's always preached that, and now he's really having to live by it. Holzenbein, Stamenkovic. Back to Holzenbein. Holzenbein going to try one, and it's off the board. Ricazzi will keep it in. 6 minutes to go. You see the penalty time on Segota. The power play is on. Stamenkovic setting up Holzenbein. He doesn't take it this time. Fink tries it, and trying to get in the slot was McMillian.
Take a look at the last pass off the boards in the corner. As Baltimore trying to get around this defense. Here's Fink in the corner. He goes against the boards. McWilliams goes into the crease, into the slot. And just barely San Diego's able to knock it out.
Now we watch this from the end zone. Holzenbein shot. Gorsick up big and strong to bat that one down. He's 5'11". He weighs 160 pounds. Looks bigger than that. Here is Quinn playing it off to Clavejo. Right now, the power play has 1:07 left. goal here. Holzenbein shooting. Blocked nicely by Crow. Crow seems to be everywhere.
Great sense of positioning. Knows how to cut off the passing lanes and is a very big young man.
Prikazi, a weak shot. Holzenbein to follow. Another save by Gorsuch. I'm surprised Stamenkovic hasn't taken more shots.
Well, they try to overplay him. They don't want Stan to get the ball. He holds the records that Zungul is beating today.
It's like in basketball, you let a certain guy take that outside shot, and they're not letting this guy take it. Now he's trying to position himself. Nice intercept that time by Quinn. So they'll kick it out. 22 seconds left in the power play.
Attitude is, if we're going to get beat, let's not get beat by Stamenkovic. Let's make someone else a hero.
There's Prikazi and off Fink.
They're going to give
it's going to be off of Gorsuch, so they'll have a corner kick. A corner kick with 11 seconds left to Segota in the penalty box. The Blast needs to capitalize here. 11 seconds to do it. They trail 8-2. Into Prikazi, and Crow will kill the remainder of the penalty.
He may do more than that.
Here he comes. Nice job that time by Prikazi getting back to keep him from having an uncontested shot on goal.
Well, that's just another big emotional letdown for Baltimore, because as you set it up, they had a chance to at least get some enthusiasm back and get the crowd back on their side. But we're unable to do that in this 2-minute penalty.
Okay, come on. Keep your hands up, come on.
So now the teams are even, the penalty expiring, and that no-goal patrol for San Diego just did a superb job.
Just play it out. It's not going for us. Just keep playing.
Kyle, I'm sure you've been in games like this. You're down by 6, and have you ever come back in those situations?
Well, there's been a playoff game that occurred a few years ago with Wichita and St. Louis, where at half, St. Louis was down from Wichita about 5 goals, and they came back and won the whole thing.
4:13 in the third, 6-goal lead by the Sockers.
It's a shot at redemption for the Celtics. It's a chance to repeat Game 1 of the NBA World Championship Monday on CBS Sports.
Well, we found a San Diego soccer fan all the way from the West Coast, and she's rooting for the team that finished with the league's best record in regular season. They were 37-11.
Interesting, at the start of the game, she was not holding that banner. How quickly things change.
Yeah, the worm has turned, so to speak. And right now, Scott Manning and his troops, a lot of ground to catch up. Here's Whitman playing before his hometown folks. And a nice block that time by Katakalitis. That was a fine play. That's a pretty good shot by Whitman.
Whitman is a hometown favorite. He has scored 4 goals in the playoffs and is not known as a high-scoring attacking defender. He had a decent year last year, but this recent season did not score a lot of goals.
3-time high school All-American, went to Calvert Hall High School in the Baltimore area. He's number 17 for the Blast. Here's Katakalitis on Manning. Manning had to jump out at him. Quinn. 3:23 to go in the third quarter. San Diego with an 8-2 lead over Baltimore, trying to take a 3-game-to-1 lead in this best of 7.
Well, this is fun if you're San Diego, a player like Katakalitis.
And there's a goal by Quinn. Woo. Ron Newman's going to have to save some of those for next Tuesday.
Just saying, you've got Katakalitis, a defender who is up there in the attacking zone having a lot of fun, taking his shots on goal. There's Zungul one more time. Uses his body to hold off the Baltimore defense.
There's no people covering. You know, you go into a tackle, and there's not one person covering you.
Here's the pass across. Zungul doesn't even touch it, but he just kind of holds off on the Baltimore defense, allowing Quinn to come to the far side. So, little overload. San Diego has drawn the whole Baltimore defense to this one side, and off the weak side, Quinn comes in and buries the ball.
His second goal, Zungul with his 7th assist. And they're after some more. Here's Deyna. 9-2. You heard Kenny Cooper saying he's not back helping defensively. Manning tried to make that leaping save, but just couldn't get to the corner. I mean, how do you analyze Manning's play? Is he just not getting any help?
Oh, it's not his fault. You know, quarterbacks either get the credit or they get blamed, and the same thing is generally true in soccer. Players like Stamenkovic and the goalkeeper, they either win the game or lose it for you, but it is a team game.
Look out, here is Zungul again. He's going to go uncontested here. Manning comes out to cut the angle, and he missed it high.
Hit the top of the crossbar, and it deflected way up into the air.
Boy, that's got to be frightful to be a goalie and seeing a guy like Zungul come at you. Look at him.
Well, Manning has a permanent room over at the local mental hospital that he goes into for a few hours after each of these games.
Oh, they get beat up. There's Manning got his nose bloodied here Thursday night. He took one in the face.
Well, you've had goalkeepers have their ribs broken from a shot. You've had certainly many noses broken.
San Diego moving again. Chinapu saved what might have been another goal as Katakalitis was in excellent position. Check that. It was Rod Hermes who was in excellent position. He's into the game for the first time.
Well, this is very attractive, but it's not getting them any closer to goal.
Right.
San Diego's forechecking is just tremendous.
They've used all 16 players, San Diego has. Out of DeShure and Finkel try to get it down to the other end. The goalie, Gorsuch, comes out. Off to Namdar. Cha-Cha Namdar. Very exciting player, very emotional player. Out of DeShure. Gives it off to Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha has a goal, and Manning on a save.
This is a lesson they want Baltimore to really remember. After being 7-0 here at the Civic Center, the Blast seemed almost impenetrable in their defense, but San Diego has done a tremendous job here this afternoon.
And so, less than a minute to go in this third quarter, and San Diego continues. There goes out of the shore, and he just missed. Manning had no chance on that one. They are just firing away at Manning. Manning probably watching the clock, wishing it would expire right now. He is fair game right now. Okazi with 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Savage trying to put it through. And so San Diego will now inbounds.
A lot of interesting owners here, Gary, in the Major Indoor Soccer League. Even though the league is only 7 years old, some very sophisticated sports entrepreneurial families involved. You've got the Bus family owning the LA franchise here, the Dallas Mavericks doing very well financially, owning the Sidekicks franchise there. The two Super Bowl families of last season, the DeBartolos and the Robbies, each having teams in this league. So there's perhaps a very good future for indoor soccer with that kind of leadership.
What about the young players? Got some good ones coming along now?
Well, and they're not just Branko Segota. There are a lot of outstanding young American players like the Kevin Crowes and the Bruce Savages that not only are doing well here in the Major Indoor Soccer League, but are also doing well representing us at the Olympic level and the national team level.
See a lot of growth. This is only 7 years for the league.
Yep, and averaging this year around 8,600 fans a game, and that's not bad.
So that's into the third quarter. It's San Diego 9, Baltimore 2. CBS Sports coverage of the 1985 MISL Championship Series. We'll continue after this message and a word from your local station. 9-2 as San Diego in the last 15 minutes picking up the 3 goals. Willrich now with the hat trick. Crow added one along with Quinn, and Kenny Cooper still very positive, trying somehow to get this team going.
The main thing is let's not give up any more goals. Let's win back a little bit of respect here, a little bit of pride. Come on, Servo. Let's win back something. Let's try and win the fourth series and take something into the next game.
I thought it was interesting. He talked about carrying over to the next game, and that's what you got to do, Kyle, when you're down 9-2, is play and hope that some of that will carry into Tuesday night when they return to San Diego.
Exactly right. It's one thing to have something go into the loss column, but you certainly don't want to lose your confidence and your self-confidence. Scott Manning is heading himself back to the goal because this is what he faced in the third quarter. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. And once again, it's all San Diego. They have scored 3 goals in each quarter this afternoon. Kevin Crow, Gene Willrich, and Quinn. Quinn, I believe, with his second goal of the night, third for Willrich. So they are scoring in bunches, and as always, Steve Zungul seems to be somewhere in the scoring.
Crow scored his, was only 7 seconds expired in the second half, and that was exactly what Cooper didn't want. So the Blast now down by a 9-2 count. Bringing it out will be Willrich, who has the hat trick. Played off the boards, and Segota. They are just peppering Scott Manning, and Manning now has given up 10 goals.
Well, the goal for Kenny Cooper was don't let him get into double figures. It took all of 24 seconds for that to occur.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
And here we see the switch off as Segota finds himself in the box totally alone, and a player of Segota's caliber will not miss that very often. Willrich looks up, finds no one on the backside, and he's got enough speed that he can accelerate.
It's almost like the start of each quarter. They draw it on the blackboard and go out and do it. They scored in 7 seconds of the third, and now they come back in 24 seconds of the fourth quarter.
It's interesting you say that because the coaching styles are so different. Ron Newman has been somewhat of an innovator, but he's much more of an instinct coach. He's the best judge of raw talent I've ever seen in soccer. Kenny Cooper, on the other hand, is much more of the disciplinarian. Kenny's the kind of guy that would diagram things out totally. And so many times when San Diego does something beautifully, it's just from the great talent and instinct they have for this game. Here's Kaz Deyna anticipating the pass and using his instinct to steal the ball for San Diego.
And again, Kyle, just shows me how much more active San Diego is. Again, it looked like the Blast a little flat there, and Deyna was able to almost come up with a shot. You know, sometimes in sports, you come off of a big win and you think you're going to play better the next time. It doesn't always happen.
Well, San Diego can win without intensity, but Baltimore cannot.
Good point.
And that's what Baltimore had Thursday that they really haven't had here today.
They haven't allowed it. San Diego has not. Shot high. Hurts. That's almost looked like a frustration attempt. San Diego. A happy team, and they should. Segota, who just scored with 24 seconds elapsed in the fourth quarter.
They've done such a beautiful renovation here in Baltimore, down here at the Harbor Place, and you would hope that they could take the architect of that and put him on the airplane as they head west come tomorrow afternoon for this 5th game coming up on Tuesday at the Sports Arena, because Kenny Cooper has got to do something terribly different than what happened today.
This team trailing by 8 goals with 13:20 left. Here's Crow. Crow dumps it in. Kaz Deyna. Kaz Deyna is 37 years of age. Not the oldest man, though. Holzenbein is the oldest on the field at 39. That's the same age as Kenny Cooper.
Players have a tendency when they switch clubs to take 1 year off, and so a player like Joey Fink for Baltimore says he's only 31, but he and I are the same age, and I'm 34.
Figure that one. Huh?
Well, it's it's a mental thing, because if a coach sees that you're 35 or whatever, he'll start looking for you to get slow, and so they want to maintain their longevity, and they'll go to that extent. That a lot of public relations directors have been paid off in this league.
Picazzi, nice stop by Gorsuch. Picazzi on a follow. 2 very impressive kicks, but not finding the mark. Savage keeps it in, and there comes Namdar. Stankovic, the 2 Yugoslavians, Stankovic and Stamenkovic, have really not been a factor in this game, and that's going to be one of the big stories. They have just been shut down. You'd be hard-pressed to remember anything they've done. San Diego has shut them down. Here's Namdar. Picazzi will bring it out. Check that. That was not Namdar. That was Rod Herman. Picazzi trying again. He's going after him, isn't he?
Well, a little bit out of frustration. It's 1 against 3, and he just wants to get the ball towards Jim Gorsuch. And let's hope for a deflection. Remember, the second of Baltimore's goals came off of a deflection. It really wasn't even a good goal. They all count, of course, but it wasn't your picture-perfect goal the way the San Diego goals have been.
Segota had a beautiful setup from Clavejo that time. Didn't quite get the foot on the ball. Bringing it out will be Coker, and Coker is dumped, and I mean dumped. And that's going to be a 2-minute penalty.
Well, that's the frustration element. And a relatively new player for Baltimore, unused to certainly a playoff type of tension. And while Prokaza goes into the penalty box, we're going to take a break. Stay with us. You're watching MISL Soccer on CBS.
From Yugoslavia, tripping, 2 minutes in the penalty box. Let's look at it.
From behind, Eddie Coker, who was one of the reasons why the fight started Thursday night, really took it about knee level. Coker had to have knee reconstruction surgery back in the late 70s. They thought he'd never play again, and that's a very dangerous foul against a player like Coker.
11:26 left in this game. 10-2, San Diego. Ball Baltimore Blast trailed at halftime 6-2. And it was all San Diego in that third quarter, and they've added another goal here in the fourth. Segota and Zungul on the foul. Those two guys are dynamite. They are the first two from the same club ever to score over 100 points. You can see why.
It's almost getting embarrassing, certainly for this man, Kenny Cooper, but almost even embarrassing for San Diego. San Diego with the #1 power play team in the Major Indoor Soccer League, and for Scott Manning, he will remember this day, but he'll remember it not with smiles, with tears, as he has seen a tremendous goals against average absolutely destroyed by the skill and the perception of the San Diego Sockers.
There's nothing he could do here, is there, Kyle?
No. It's totally the defense's fault, and I have to say, with Scott's great goals against average, the credit had to go to the Baltimore defense as well during the season, but today they don't deserve credit.
Most goals that have been scored against the Blast in any game this season. 11-2. Kurtz headed in nicely, but wouldn't find the mark. Skorsic on another save. That was Fink on the head play, header trying to get it in. Juan Hermes now on the boards, and we're going to have a goal, or I should say a foul, and the untangle. Looked like Buriano wasn't going to get up. Juan Hermes, who's from Iraq, born in France and played his high school soccer in the San Diego area.
There it is, a good double leg takedown, which we saw a little bit earlier on CBS.
Wrestling's big nowadays.
Yes, it is.
11-2.
Most of these guys aren't built like Hulk Hogan, though.
No, not quite.
Great athletes, though, and tremendous fitness and skill.
Not sure, and nicely, Birch was back to get it off the Manning. You know, you wonder in some ways if Kenny Cooper might just get Manning out of there. Bring in his other goalie, Jim May, and let him get out of there and quit taking such a beating.
Well, you've got a real problem, because the Humane Society would come across in Jimmy May's case and say, don't do it.
Oh, it's like a pitcher getting battered around.
Goodness.
You bring the relief in, and Scott Manning probably wouldn't argue if Jim May could replace him.
Not at all.
Scott Manning, by the way, had 23 wins this year in goal for this Baltimore Blast team. He was the first American-born goalkeeper to lead the league in goaltending, which I thought was very interesting. Scott went to Cortland State in the New York area. 27 years old, and this guy wants to be in television eventually.
Well, he's doing a little internship here with a local station, and I'm anxious to hear what he'd say after this game. But
he'd probably rather be up here with us.
Keep his objectivity or whatever. Well, I've got a chance who might congratulate for the semifinalist position both Minnesota and Cleveland. Cleveland having to beat Chicago to get into the semifinals, and Minnesota really the surprise team of the playoffs. Alan Merrick doing a tremendous job as coach of that team to take a team that started off very slow and had a tremendous end of the season push. They'll be a big factor next year to deal with.
By the way, at halftime, they presented the MISL Coach of the Year award to Peter Wall of the Los Angeles Lasers.
His team only had a 24-24 record as they had the year before, but he was the overwhelming choice of his fellow coaches and his tremendous coach.
You get the feeling Baltimore just needs to score a goal to take with them to San Diego. Buriano has the ball dumped away from him by Schmetzer. Buriano trying to keep it in. McWilliams, who has a goal, has it taken away by Quinn. Mighty Quinn, they call him. All hustle from Northern Ireland. He's a hurling champion, by the way, in Northern Ireland. Quinn number 14. As you said, they're just good athletes. A lot of these guys are excellent golfers. In fact, interesting story, San Diego thought they'd already won the series against Minnesota, then on their way out found out later they didn't. They had to find everybody, didn't they? The golf courses and get them ready to play. 8:35 left. The Baltimore Blast. What might be their last home appearance of this season.
Well, I would think so. Again, 19 in a row for San Diego at the Sports Arena. And they will be able to wrap it all up Tuesday night. I'm sure they'll have a tremendous crowd, as they always do. The San Diego fans very supportive of their Sockers.
You mentioned Newman, the personal problems health-wise that his family has had. His wife Olive here, enjoyed meeting her, Kyle.
Very special people. Ron drafted me in the first round and gave me my start in professional soccer, as well as giving Kenny Cooper his start, so he is really the dean of soccer here in America.
Talking to his wife, Olive, she said there were some days when things were a little shaky, but it's this league has really grown. Talking more about the outdoor season. She was from England, came over with Ron. Here's Tomankovic. I'd like to see him just shoot one again. You know, that play he put on Thursday was so sensational, and he hasn't even gotten a chance to try one of those patented shots of his.
No, and in somewhat of Stan's defense, San Diego has collapsed on him the whole night, the whole afternoon. But Stan also is perhaps not this is going to sound like criticism, but he's not the fighter that a Zungul is. And Zungul scores maybe 20% of his goals just with determination and perseverance. And Stan, it's a little bit easier to get Stan off of his confidence.
And so, with 7:38 to go, San Diego on a roll. Hale Irwin, who had a 4-stroke lead at the beginning of the day, looking for his first victory in over a year, and you can see he's 7 under through 8. Live coverage of the third round to follow this one. Zungul, by the way, has 8 points in this game. That's one short of his own MISL playoff record for points in one game. I'll let you an interesting point. He gets a lot of his on just effort.
Well, they call them garbage goals, but Zungul's garbage goals are of a different character than most people's, different quality. He just makes things happen, and he is single-minded in his direction towards putting the ball in the net.
There's a lot of things that could be said about him. I saw a rating the other day at Getting Ready for this game where he was rated as having the second hardest shot in the league. What would that be, 100 mile an hour?
Very close to that, yes. And he can, and these players like Zungul and Segota and Stomenkovic can make it curve, they can make it slice, they can make it sink, they can make it rise. Occasionally, they can even make it knuckle, and that makes it obviously look very difficult for the people.
Willrich missed on it. He had Manning set up, headed it in. Oh, what a play. That's 4 goals for Willrich. Oh, he's had a sensational game, as has this entire San Diego team.
Well, that was done on purpose. That pass to Willrich on the header was not a missed shot. That was just Kaz Deyna calmly, with the world-class skill that he has, putting the ball right on the head. Here's Willrich on the shot. It's not a real good first shot. Comes back out. Here's Deyna, turns, side puts it to the far post, and Willrich heads it in. Very few chances you get in indoor soccer to score a headed goal. Here's Willrich looking around. He'll go it off the boards, comes back out to number 10, Kaz Deyna. Deyna side puts it. Far post, there's the diving header for Gene Willrich.
You get the feeling they're playing with more guys out there.
Yeah.
They've got somebody deployed in the right position seemingly all the time. And a victory salute there by Willrich. Job well done, 4 goals. Head check by Chinapoo. We'll give it to San Diego with 6:51. This has been total domination. I don't believe the Sockers have done anything wrong today.
No, and this is the kind of performance that San Diego is capable of. Baltimore could not beat San Diego 12-2. The best they could do is what they did the other night, blow them out by 3 or 4 goals, but Baltimore is much more of a control team, not quite as much of a streaky team, and they don't have the tremendous individual talent that San Diego has.
Interestingly enough, Kyle, they've scored 3 goals in each quarter. That's pretty good distribution,
yes,
isn't it?
It is.
And with a 12-2 lead, 6:34 left, and Baltimore, who will leave tomorrow for San Diego, has got to somehow get their game back and go against a team that's never lost at home in the playoffs. 17-0. That's remarkable. There's Zungul, tripped by Verts. So it will be a foul, and Zungul a little upset, and that shows you how competitive he is. He's still playing hard, even though his team's leading by 10 goals.
Well, Steve knows that in a few months they will remember whether he scored in the last few minutes of the game or not.
Do you get incentive pay for so many goals?
I'm sure Zungul does. There are a number that do.
Well, that might be the reason why he's still playing all the way.
Another reason why I'm sure in indoor soccer, as we see the trip from behind, Zungul with about a 7.2 performance on the vote from the fans on that ball. But you get 1 point for an assist and 1 for a goal, so that means a player like Zungul can still score a lot of points being a great assist player, and certainly he's shown today that he's the best there is.
Man, he just kicked that out. He looked like he was so upset the way this thing's been going. Zungul brings it out to Schmetzer. 5:54, the onslaught continuing. They rebuilt this downtown Baltimore area, and the Sockers have come in here and kind of leveled the whole area, haven't they? They have dominated. It's been total domination. San Diego, I'm sure they played this well before, but maybe not on national television. Last year they were in the outdoor league. They won that. 2 years ago they won the MISL. Last year was Baltimore that won it. 4th straight year Baltimore's been in the championship series. Quinn, it's now 13-2. It is embarrassing now as far as Baltimore is concerned. You're playing for some pride, and it's not coming about.
Well, what's going to happen here, Ron's got to make a choice. Ron Newman is, do I put all my subs in? He's been putting the subs in, but these subs are so good. They've not had as much playing time as the Zunguls and Segotas. They want to score goals, too, and they're going to keep pushing. It's a similar problem that football coaches have when they're accused of running up a score. How do you tell a backup player like Katakalitis not to shoot on goal?
That's a hat trick now for Brian Quinn. For the second time in this playoff series, Brian Quinn has a hat trick. Game 2 and now in Game 4.
Well, here's the mirage defense of the Baltimore Blast, at least on this day. Scott Manning would describe it that way, I'm sure, as he's left 1 against 1. And despite the fact there were Baltimore defenders in the area, no one was challenging Quinn as he came in to score his 3rd goal of the afternoon.
Are you sure that Baltimore has all 5 of their players out here? There's a couple of times where it looks like it's about 3-on-1 every time they break out of there. And we're not being facetious. It's just been that kind of game. San Diego now 13-2. They're breaking all kinds of playoff records here today.
And what an amazing game we had Thursday. To Baltimore's credit that day, this is just a shell of the team we saw play Thursday, because they did a job on San Diego. San Diego was slightly less intense than they are today, and Baltimore really made them pay for it.
And interestingly enough, this guy, Claveo, had 2 shorthanded goals in that game, or they would have been worse. 10-6 Baltimore, and here today, Baltimore trails 13-2. You figure it out.
In terms of normal shooting success percentage, around 15% is the league average. Today, San Diego on only 30 shots has 13 goals, so they're hitting the net at about a 33% clip.
That is something.
Maybe no, even higher than that.
I think it's 43.
Yeah, 43% clip, something like that. So almost 3 times the normal accuracy. That really means that the Baltimore defense has not done its job.
Well, Willrich with 4 goals, Quinn with a hat trick, Zungul with 1 goal, 7 assists, and that adds up to 13-2. 13-2 in favor of the Sockers. Game 5 Tuesday in San Diego, and boy, what a welcome home they should get in the West Coast area. Game away from winning the MISL championship. Coley and Crow after each other. 3:44 left in this game. 14 teams in the MISL. It came down to these two, the number 1 and 2 seeds. San Diego seeded first. Baltimore second. Baltimore had a very, very physical series with the Cleveland Force going the limit. And San Diego likewise with Minnesota. Coming up, the Memorial. 3rd round live coverage from that magnificent place in Dublin. The designer, Jack Nicklaus, the winner a year ago, Jack Nicklaus, but right now he's not on the leaderboard. Hale Irwin still has the advantage. 3:35 left in this one.
Crow sneaking in on the backside behind Prakazi.
Prakazi's really working hard. There he touched it with his hand, didn't he? Yep, he sure did.
They decided not to call the trip against San Diego. They called the handball on Prakazi. Prakazi picked up the ball because he thought the whistle was for the trip.
And they Namdar almost had an uncontested shot there. They got it back into play so quickly. Crow gets it out to Cha-Cha. Off to Adi Coker, and he'll spin it off the board. 13-2. Stankovic taken away by Namdar.
We've got a chance, we might say thanks to Dick Chrisman and Drew Forrester for their help from the public relations offices of both these ball clubs, and also Jeremiah Enright of the Major Indoor Soccer League.
Well, we got Jim Bootish up here helping us as a spotter, and Marty Arundel, our statistician, and Marty's been busy. I tell you, we've had some records set today.
With calculator in hand.
That's right. We've had just one guy in particular, Zungul, has kept him busy. 2.5 to go. And this long afternoon for Baltimore is about to come to a close. Mercoli to Verts. And how many times have they taken shots, Kyle, and they've just gone way high over the goal?
Using that 8-iron instead of a 2-iron.
I guess so.
The owner here in Baltimore, Nathan Shear, quite a sportsman himself, and he's got a big challenge for himself just generally owning this team. If I recall, he owns the thoroughbred horse that won the Preakness in '82, Aloma's Ruler, and he said something about his getting into professional sports with the Baltimore Blast. Horses eat the same oats whether they win or lose, and when they win, they don't ask for a raise in their contract. But likewise, when a team gets beat this bad, you wonder what he'll say to them and what the players will say back to him as they try to explain how they lost this game today.
Well, they don't deduct from the salary, I'll say that.
No.
McWilliams as they headed back in. Approaching 2 minutes to go in this game. Game 4. And it has been a surprise. I don't know about you, Kyle. Did you in your wildest imagination anticipate this kind of game?
Well, not with Baltimore leading the series 7-0. Not with every incentive for the Blast to succeed at the vision that they've had. And that was to win a second consecutive championship in the Major Indoor Soccer League. And I thought they would be able to maintain the intensity. They had 48 hours off or 36 hours off between the games, and that generally can be enough to do it, but they haven't had that today.
Here's a man with a goal and 7 assists trying to add to it. Nice play that time by Buriano. Beautiful tackle on Zungul. And the crowd loves it. That's one of the few things they've had to cheer about in the second half.
Shows you how little they've had to cheer about.
Williams trying to hook it around, could not. Good defensive effort that time. Don't forget, coming up next, third round, the Memorial from Dublin, Ohio. Hale Irwin still leading in that one. Chinapoo with less than a minute to go. Tried somehow to get a goal in the second half. They trailed 6-2 at half. Now trailing 13-2 as we wind it down. Kyle Rote now leaving the booth. He'll leave the booth if we can get a ladder here. And we'll try to do some interviews. There's Katakalitis and a shot. 1-2 tries and Hermes has it. Rod Hermes, the 23-year-old from Iraq. So he gets into the scoring column. And the smile says it all. And there's a frustrated coach. I really enjoy getting to know Kenny Cooper, but Kenny Cooper will not remember this day as being one of his highlights. Hermes, good, relentless attack that time on the rebound, able to make it in. Wow, 14-2. Starting to look like a football score. Nankovic off the board. San Diego now with 25 seconds left in the game, just putting the finishing touches on. Here's Crow. Ricazzi coming up with it momentarily. Willrich, who has 4 goals today, will back it out. And so the San Diego Sockers will take a 3-1 lead in this best-of-7 series. They return home Tuesday in San Diego for game number 5. What a battle, what a performance by this soccer team. They win it 14-2.
Okay, well done.
14 goals. That ties the MISL playoff record for one game set by the New York Arrows as the Sockers win it 14-2. And with a winning coach, here's Kyle Rote Jr.
Thanks very much, Gary. And Ron Newman, a man who has an awful lot on his mind right now with the health of your wife, this victory must mean an awful lot to you.
Well, we wanted to do it at the right time, and with CBS, you know, we live a little close to Hollywood, and most of my lads, they can think of stardom, so they couldn't think of if they were going to win it eventually in this stadium. They should do it on the big screen.
I know you still have to play the game Tuesday, but when you go back into the sports arena in San Diego, you've pretty much been able to win every playoff game you've ever played there. 19-0 going into this game on Tuesday.
Well, of course, the odds are all in our favor now. We wanted to split these two. Of course, we were embarrassed a little bit in the last game, and I think it just got my legs up. I have to mention before the game, it's our Yugoslavs versus their Yugoslavs, and Steve Zungul played an incredible game, and Jim Willrich, who was sick in the last game, it was just a shadow of the normal self, saved it all for today, and I think he was absolutely incredible.
Thursday night, Kenny Cooper ran onto the field to grab you in the midst of the pushing and shoving match and said something to you about forget about the game. What did you say to him after this game?
He said it was our night, and I said, you're right, it was just one of those days where everything went right for us, and I think we broke their spirit fairly early, and we know that in this business, when all your players are on at the same time, the best team is awfully difficult to beat. And
you've got not only skill, but you've got speed, and you had the fighting power today as well.
Oh yeah, everything was right. We play these games every now and again, and I wouldn't like to be playing against us when we play with this type of tenacity and this type of experience, and when everything goes right for you, I think we're pretty much unbeatable.
Real quickly about the sports arena crowd, we kind of speculated up in the booth that perhaps they're worth a goal or two. How do you feel about those folks?
Well, they're lovely people, and we always know that we work very hard, of course, to get the home field advantage, and we might not need all of it because we won one on the road, but we wanted that because it helps us, because our fans are so great to us and they lift our players. It's very difficult for our players to play badly in front of a large San Diego crowd. They're great people.
Got a young man who is a little bit tall, Gene Willrich, who had a few goals today. Gene, come in here just for a second, and let me see if I can grab you. Congratulations on all those goals.
Thank you very much. I think today was a very tough game. In the first game, when we play here, we take it a little bit too easy. Intense and was very good.
Okay, Gene, thanks very much. Congratulations. Tell Steve congratulations on his performance as well. Back to you, Gary.
Thank you, Kyle. Willrich with 4 goals and assists, and Ron Newman, the winningest coach in U.S. pro soccer history, has added another to the W column with his 14-2 win. Our producer of today's game is Ed Gorin, and directed very capably by Bob Dunphy. His crew in this special presentation with associate producer Bob Rowe. Donna Miller, who had that music special at halftime, our associate director. Pierce O'Neill and Steve Shear, our broadcast associates. And these people have really been fun, and we certainly enjoy bringing this game to you. As San Diego with total dominance, 14-2. For Kyle Rowe Jr., this is Gary Bender saying so long from Baltimore, Maryland. For once again, the final score, San Diego 14, Baltimore 2.